Welcome back to the programme. Well, Conor Cusack, a fine Cork hurler who has started on the pitch for both his own very successful club Cloyne and the Cork senior team. He's also a brother of Donald Cusack, wrote an incredibly powerful blog yesterday about his own battle with depression that has gone viral. So tonight we thought we'd invite him in. Conor, you're very welcome.
Miriam, thanks very much for having me here. It's great to be up here. I suppose, look, I'm not here to paint a picture of myself as being an angel. I have a lot of friends down in Cloyne and Cork, and they'll tell you I'm the furthest thing from being an angel that you could find. I'm not here to bash medication or bash psychiatry. They have their place within the treatment of depression, and there's a lot of people get a lot of benefit out of it. But I suppose I'm here to tell my story, and I think it's a story that resonates with an awful lot of people in the country. If it can be of help, a bit of comfort, a bit of hope to some few people, and if it can perhaps break the taboo and maybe lessen the stigma that's attached with it, well then I'm very glad to tell the story.
Let's go back, Conor. When did you first experience depression? When did you know you were suffering from depression?
Well, look, I suppose I was probably around 15 or 16 when I first started experiencing panic attacks. And for anybody that's experienced panic attacks, it's a horrific experience. You're convinced your world is ending, pains in your chest, can't catch your breath, you're convinced you're going to die. And that was the start of my problems, really, you know. Now, it just progressed along bit by bit. It wasn't something that was sudden. Gradually started to lose interest in my friends, started to lose interest in school that I loved, started to lose interest in hurling, and the worst of all, I started to lose interest in people. I always loved people and loved being in their company, but it was a gradual bit by bit thing. And I suppose I was inside work one morning, inside Pin Profile down in Middleton, and you know, finally the image that I'd been keeping up all along, I didn't have the strength anymore to keep up that image, and finally I cracked. And you know, sometimes they say that something has to crack for the light to allow in. Well, that morning I cracked, and I lay down in the corner inside the building, started bawling my eyes out. One of my fellow workers came over. Poor man didn't know what to do. He was looking foolish at me, and I said, "Look, will you just take me home?" And GP came, prescribed a few relaxing tablets and stuff. Went to hospital the following week, had a battery of tests done, every test imaginable, and at the end of it all, a doctor came to my bed at the end of it and said, "Look, we think you're suffering from depression." It was the first time that I heard the word, and that was the first time that I would have realised that I had something like that wrong with me.
And if for everyone who hasn't read the blog, I mean, you basically retreated your bedroom, didn't you? I mean, it was so bad, you almost stayed in your bedroom a lot and hardly ever came out.
Lived in my bedroom, lived in my bedroom. You know, for 5 months, the metre by metre window in front of me, that was my link to the outside world, you know, and there was probably 10 mils of glass separating me from there, but I was a million miles away from that, you know. That was the real world out there. This was a living hell in here for me. I saw the summer pass, I saw the autumn pass, I saw the winter pass through that window. There was only one person, well, 2 people, my mother and my Aunt Marie, that I'd allow into that room just to bring me food. And on a Thursday morning when I used to go to see the psychiatrist, that was the only time I'd leave the house. Didn't want to speak to anyone, didn't want to talk to anyone, and that room was my sanctuary away from the world. But in reality, it was a living hell.
You came to your lowest moment, did you? Tell a story about the day your mother didn't go to Mass.
Well, I suppose previous to that, I'd been to a lot of different doctors and psychiatrists, and I was on 18 tablets a day at this stage, you know, and I wasn't getting better. And I was sent to another psychiatrist in a place in Cork City. It's called St. Anne's, and St. Anne's would probably have, you know, would be a place that would be associated with a lot of people with mental health difficulties. And I went in to see the doctor, and the first thing he said to me was, "Oh, your brother is the famous Cork goalkeeper." And he proceeded to talk for the next 10 minutes about hurling. I had zero interest in hurling at that time, and my esteem or whatever was on the floor at that stage, and here was this guy and he was talking to me about hurling and not talking to me about me. And at the end of it all, he suggested this electric shock therapy to me. And intrinsically, I don't know why, but something inside me always told me that medication and something like that was not the path that I needed to follow. And I remember coming out of the hospital, and I was utterly distraught, because this was like my final hope, that I thought that this was the guy that was finally going to help me, and instead he was suggesting something that was alien to me. And I remember coming
So
home.
it could work for other people.
Though it could work.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
But keep going.
As I said, this is my
Yeah.
story, you know, and everyone has their own. But so I came home, I remember, and I was utterly distraught. And you know, I decided one night I couldn't. The desire for death outweighed my desire for living, and I decided I was going to kill myself. And an incredible thing happened. A peace that I hadn't experienced in years came over my body. It was like as if my body realised that it no longer was going to have to suffer this horrific physical and mental pain that I've been going through for the last number of years. No longer was I going to have to suffer these panic attacks, waking up soaked in sweat every night. And I got a night's sleep that I hadn't had in years. And I was very calm about it. There was no anxiety. I knew my dad and my brothers, Victor and Dunlo, would be going to a match that Saturday evening. I know my mum and my sister would be going to mass. And so I had the rope in my room. I was quite calm about it, very matter of fact. I was going to get in my car, drive to the location that I had arranged, and hang myself. And for some reason, I don't know why, but my mother never went to mass. And ultimately, it was a decision on her part that saved my life.
It's amazing, actually.
Yeah.
But after that, you transformed yourself. You got better. Your story is a happy story at the end, Conor. Explain that path to recovery for you, how that came about.
Well, look, I worked for Doreen Allen since I was 8 years of age. I worked there for 8 or 9 years in her gardens and her kitchen. And, you know, Doreen is an incredible woman. She never forgets anybody who's ever worked for her. Still to this day, she'll send in, if there's something happens in the family, a death or something, there'll be a table full of food will come into that house. And my Aunt Marie has worked with Doreen for years. And Doreen had asked one day, how's Conor doing? Is he in school, or what's he doing? And my aunt told him, you know, that I was in a bad way. So Doreen suggested a person that she knew, that she felt could be a benefit to me. And no, I'd been to loads of doctors at this stage. I'd given up all hope. But my mother pleaded with me just to go one more time. And that was a decision on my part that ultimately saved my life. I went to see this clinical psychologist, and from the moment I met him, I don't know what it was, but from the moment I met him, I knew this is it. I'm going to get better with this person. He is the man that I've been seeking all along. And it was an incredible thing. I remember coming home, my mother driving home, my mother in the car that evening, and I was crying, but it was tears of joy. It was absolute tears of joy, because I knew this was the thing that I've been waiting for all along. And it was an incredible moment in my life, and it was a moment that transformed the whole lot for me, you know.
And you're well now, and I know the reason, you said to me earlier, you wrote the blog, and what you want mostly to say tonight is to give hope to other people, don't you, Conor?
Absolutely, Miriam. Look, there's people at the moment out there that are going through depression or anxiety, and they're getting treatment. And I just want to say to them, I want to encourage them to stay in the path. It's not an easy journey, it's difficult, and I salute their courage for doing that, and the rewards at the end of it are great. There's another group of people out there that are living with and helping and supporting friends and loved ones that are ill with depression or whatever, or anxiety, whatever. I know the powerlessness that they feel looking at their loved ones, and that, you know, it's not like cutting your leg that you can fix or anything. You know, it's a difficult place for them. But the person themselves might not say it, but inside them, they very much appreciate your support and your comfort. I remember my mother saying to me one time, I will patiently wait till eternity and beyond for my son to get better. So keep giving your love and support. To those people out there that are living a life of silent misery and are afraid to take that step, you're not alone. There's a load of people in your same situation. You know, there's a certain comfort and safety in remaining hidden, but it's a terrible tragedy if you can't be found. And, you know, there's an incredible amount of help and support out there for those people. It's an act of courage and strength, not weakness, to admit that you're struggling. It's an act of courage to say that I need help. But you need to take the first step. You need to take the first step. And I plead with those people to please take that first step. And finally, to those people out there tonight, Miriam, that are perhaps contemplating suicide, I know the terrible torture and pain that you're going through. I know the horrific thing that your day-to-day living existence is. I know that you think that this world and your family and friends and community will be a better place without you in it. But I guarantee you, it won't. It's not. The destruction and the pain that's left in families with someone that commits suicide is incredible. And the distress that they're going through now is nothing compared to what it would be without you in the world. You know, as human beings, you know, we're a once-off phenomenon in this universe. Of all the billions of people that have ever lived, all the billions that are going to come after us, there'll never again be another Mary McCallum. There'll never again be another Conor Cusack. You know, we're totally unique. And the world needs us. The world needs all the people that we have in our communities. So, you know, I promise those people that are in that terrible place, there's a place within them. It's a place of peace, it's a place of joy, it's a place of love, it's a place of hope. And it's waiting for them to rediscover it. It's waiting for them to rediscover it. And it's within their grasp. It's within their grasp. They have all the skills and all the abilities to be able to get there. And the thing about it, Miriam, is these people, they'll emerge stronger people. They'll emerge people that are living their life from the inside out, independent of other people's opinions. They're living their life fully and freely. They're going to not be frightened by this world anymore. They're going to be embraced by it. They're going to look at challenges and difficulties and take them all on. And, you know, somewhere along the way, I get to meet some of those souls on the road less travelled. And I look forward to that. Embrace the journey, start the journey.
Conor, thank you so much for coming in tonight. And I know you wanted to thank everybody, including your family and friends and everyone in the GAA and your club. Conor Cusack, you're wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in. And listen, talking about anyone who does need any help, obviously we're going to put up some numbers now for the Samaritans, Pieta House, Console and Aware, and the numbers are out there on screen. And if you have any problems tonight, ring those. Conor Cusack, thanks so much for being our guest tonight.